This is the xeriscape demonstration garden at Farmington, the Farmington Ag Science Center with New Mexico State University. And the garden is somewhat unique from other xeriscape gardens in that it's split into 4 different sections, and then each section is irrigated differently. I can show you the irrigation system. We're actually irrigating right now. We've got water coming in from a pressurized line and then a pressure reducer to reduce the pressure down. And then we have other pressure reducers on here. The drip system just consists of like I said, a valve, a main valve to turn each zone on, and then a filter. And this is definitely a mandatory requirement for any drip system, is having a filter, because especially if you have irrigation water. This is a disc filter, and that's what's filtering out our any sediments that come in from the irrigation water. So you definitely have to have a filter if you're going to use a drip system, and also a pressure reducer. Like I said, this reduces the pressure down to 20 psi. The pressure coming in here is about 70 probably, or 80. This drops it down to 40, and then these pressure regulators drop it down to 20 before it goes out the drip lines. And that's prevention. The emitters work well anywhere between 10 and 20 psi. When you get pressures higher than that, you have a tendency to blow your drip system apart, or you can blow the emitters out. Okay, here's a manifold that you can use along your lateral and irrigate 8 separate plants with. It has a built-in filter, so you get a double filtration with the system. You have your filters up at your valves, and then you have a built-in filter here. And then you have 8 emitters that are built right into the manifold, and these are removable. And then the water will come up. Here's the water. The water will go through your lateral, come up on this riser, and go into the manifold, and then come out the emitters and through this microtube to your plant. Now we have all 1 gallon per hour emitters. These are color coded. These Rainbird models, these are 1 gallon per hour emitters. We have all the same size emitters in this particular manifold. But you could also take these out. Say you had a bigger plant or larger plant, say that this tube was going to, you could change that emitter out and put a 2 gallon per hour, or maybe even a 4 gallon per hour emitter in instead of a 1 gallon per hour. So it's a very versatile little piece of equipment. It makes life easy, especially in a xeriscape. It may not be suitable for a garden or something like that, but for a xeriscape it's a convenient little way to monitor the water going to your different plants. And so we just schedule our irrigations by timing. The different irrigations, like I said, we go for 4 hours, 8 hours, and 12 hours for the low, medium, and high irrigation levels respectively. And they also have plugs in case you weren't irrigating a plant out of a particular outlet here. You can put plugs in there. Okay, yeah, we set the irrigation system above ground so people can see how it's installed. Now, normally in a landscape, you'd probably want to bury your drip lines with mulch or even down into the ground. But we want to demonstrate how the system's laid out, so we put it above ground so people can see. Now, I showed you those manifolds before, but you can also just plug an emitter directly into your lateral if you want, and then water a plant using that. This is still a 1 gallon per hour emitter, except it's just running directly off the lateral instead of the manifold, like we showed you before. And then these little micro tubes will go to your plant. Or you can do it, you can plug in a adapter here, plug the tubing into the adapter, and then put the emitter on the end of the line next to your plant. You can do it either way. Now, at the plant itself, you can buy these little holders that hold a little spike that holds your line in place next to your plant where you want the water to be going. Now here's a micro tubing that you can use for larger specimens, because you want to try to water out towards the drip line of the tree if you have a tree or bush, and you'd like to get water out even out to here. This one's a little bit small, but we'll expand it later. But this is a micro tubing that has built-in emitters, and you can see the wet spots around here. and that'll help to water that drip line around your trees. We only have a 2 gallon per hour emitter going to this tree, and then it's but then we have the water going through the microtube to irrigate that drip line.